Hello and welcome to a special little tempo control thingamabobber. This is a Spoilercast. My name is Joe DeVader. You might notice that Peter is not here. In fact, I'm pretty sure this is the first tempo control video that Peter's not involved with. That's weird. It's super weird. Anyways, joining me actually is Clayton Jessen, aka Zero Ranma. Welcome.
Hi. Hi.
And we are
I'm
here.
new to this tempo control thing.
You are also the first person that is not on the Tempo Control writing staff. Well, maybe not at the time this comes out, because I believe we have somebody that's not on the regular writing staff working on the next episode, because none of us on the writing staff know much about the game. Woo! And so, but for the most part, I believe you were the first non-team member to be in a recording, at least. I know that much.
Sweet.
So that's cool. High fives all around there. And we are here to talk about Fire Emblem Fates. All three routes of it.
All of them.
So here's how...
God, that was so long.
For so long. I had about 110 hours at the end, and you had like 160?
I had 180.
Oh, jeez. That's even worse than I thought. Wow.
60 hours for each route.
Jeez. So here's how this is going to be structured. What we're going to do now is do some brief talk about... Here's some brief non-spoiler thoughts on the game as a whole. All three routes sort of put together. And then I'm going to see if I can get Peter to put some annotations in the video. Hopefully they're there. I don't know if they're there. I'm not Peter, and I can't force him to do stuff. He is technically the boss in this situation. One should be for Birthright spoiler cast, one should be for Conquest spoiler cast, and one should be for Revelation spoiler cast. So if you want to skip ahead to any of them, or if you're just interested in one but not the others, there you go. You could just.
I mean,
go
let's
straight to
be
it.
honest. If you're like us who had to buy all three routes of Fate, you're gonna watch all the spoiler casts.
I mean, if you think about it, the reason we're the only ones here is because we're the only ones that have gotten through all three routes in our community. So everybody else is either still stuck on their second route or their first route.
Rest in peace, Dark.
Rest in peace, Dark. Matt has only made it through part of Conquest.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
his
that's
first
what you
route.
get when you pick the hardest route first.
Poor-
And also, he also doesn't have like time.
Yeah, poor kid.
So,
Anyways,
Yeah.
so let's have some general talk. What did you think of Fire Emblem Fates in general, really?
In general, it is definitely, I'd say, an improvement over Awakening. That's for sure. Like, the art style, I just love a lot more.
They have
in
feet.
comparison.
They have feet.
They have feet. They have feet.
Even in the Awakening DLC, where you go back and spend time with Frederick
yes.
and Crom and Lissa, they have feet now. They added feet to the models. It's the funniest thing in the world to me. I don't know why.
The graphics are really pretty. The whole transition from the top down to the actual battle screen is really,
Oh,
really...
I really, really love that. I get super
The
disappointed when it
soundtrack
doesn't.
is amazing. Wouldn't you agree?
So far, one of the songs on the soundtrack is my song of the year from any game that's come out this year.
Which one's that?
That would be Dusk Falls, I believe is what it's called. And that's my favorite song on the soundtrack, basically.
Mine was like the one that the really somber music from when you make the decision in 6.
Oh God,
You know that one. Because
Yeah.
it's somber, but it's really it really sets the tone for this game.
that's true. This game has a lot of very tone-setting songs. Lost in Thoughts All Alone. It had to grow on me, because I'm not gonna lie.
You get used to that song so much.
those-
'Cause it is
yeah.
everywhere.
Those lyrics suck, though. The English lyrics are terrible. I don't know about the Japanese
Amelie's version
lyrics.
is amazing, though.
I haven't heard that version yet.
It it sounds like it should be the actual version. That's how good it is. Way to go, Treehouse.
I think I saw Matt describe it as why does the fan dub sound official and the official sound like a fan dub? So I think that was Matt. I don't know if that was actually him.
I think it was Fangs.
It might have been. It might have been her.
I don't know. There's like a giant
It was
wall
one
of
of
text.
them.
I was describing my
But that
end.
was the most apt description, I think.
Yeah.
So overall,
But
though,
yeah, it's a pretty solid. It's really solid.
I
Like
really
it's
like
definitely
it.
worth the money.
My room is weird. My room
My-
is so weird.
You mean the personal quarters?
It's the
Private
weirdest. It's the weirdest thing. I stopped doing it in Revelations. I couldn't do it anymore. I didn't do it
I-
in Revelations at all.
I stopped after a certain point. Yeah, I got rid of it. It was just a bother. It was just taking too long, and yeah, it was a little creepy.
So a
I
real
think
quick.
people were bitching about taking out the face petting.
That would have made it weirder. The one bit of face petting you do get to do is already even weirder. Nothing's gonna be weirder than blowing on your
Your spouse.
husband or wife when they get out of the bath. That was, I think that one Vine puts it best with did an alien write this game? What was that? So I guess the last question generally that we can ask without spoiling anything is, who did you marry in each route?
Oh boy. Well, why don't we start with you, because I apparently did some really controversial shit with mine. So
So in Birthright and Conquest, I played as a male Corin. And so in Birthright, I married Kagero. Don't really know why.
just because
I like Kagero. I like her a lot.
Kagura's nice.
None of them. Here's the thing. None of them in any of the routes really hit. I mean, one of them did, but it would have been weird in Conquest to marry that person, and I wasn't gonna do it.
Right.
But in Birthright, I married Kagero because she's cool and she's a ninja. But none of the characters really screamed out, "Oh, I would like to marry that one."
Right.
I mean, I didn't have that in Awakening either, so I don't know. And then in Conquest, I married Charlotte. I especially don't know why I did that. I think it's just because I find Charlotte hilarious. I love her character.
Just Charlotte in general is just hilarious to watch.
Charlotte in general
With
is
every
funny.
single person she supports with.
Eventually, they find out that she's a bad person. She's a bad person. And then in Revelations, I played as a woman, so I married Silas in Revelation.
OTP.
Which I believe is if you're playing as female Corin, I'm pretty sure that's probably the canon couple. Or
Right.
if it's not, it should be. Because they really try their hardest to sort of ship that.
Right. Just like with the male one, they try and make it with Azura.
I believe
Which-
male, yeah.
Which on spoiler side, that's really weird. But anyway, we'll get to that when we get to that.
So who'd you marry?
Okay, so in Birthright and Conquest, I wanted to get all the kids, right? So that left me with having to marry either Scarlet, who was only Corn sexual, and the
Corin
kids.
sexual. That's a good term for it.
And I wasn't really involved with Scarlet all that much, so I just went, fuck it, I'll just marry one of the kids. So I married Kildori.
That's not a bad one.
Kildori's support with the Avatar is actually really nice, you know. And then in Conquest, I was like, well, I learned one of the characters, and I was like, you know what, I want revenge against Lissa so hard, so I decided to marry her granddaughter,
There you
Ophelia, and then made Lissa a great-granddaughter just to fuck with her.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, and then in Revelations, I married everyone, like cross marriage as possible, and then that left me with Scarlet, Flora, and the kids. And I decided, well, you know, Flora's been through a lot of shit. I'll marry Flora. So I did.
I never married any of the maids or the butler. So, so that should do it for our general section. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into Birthright. So if you haven't played Birthright and want to skip ahead to Conquest or Revelation, click on those annotations now. God, I hope they're there. If not, there might be some timestamps in the description. So look there. But otherwise, if you're not looking for spoilers in Fire Emblem Fates, this is where you stop the video.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
So, Birthright, obviously, is the easier of the two. And we both started with Birthright. Hence why it is first on this list. So, let's talk about...
you know, canonically, you just do Birthright first.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't...
The games really try and make you do Birthright first.
Conquest is really mean, and if you don't do Birthright first, then you did it wrong. But I can sort of see why somebody would do Conquest first.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Birthright. Let's talk about the good old people in Hoshido.
The Japanese, our good old Japanese friends.
The ninjas and samurai and stuff like that were a really nice change of pace, I think. And I saw a lot of people talking about that in in topics and stuff, like on,
forums and whatnot.
Yeah. And it was mainly like, ninjas and samurai, and those are all stuff we haven't really had in a Fire Emblem game.
Technically, if you want to be like real specific, they're just like a bunch of them are rehashes of classes we already had.
They are, but they've got a new
coat of paint on. The samurai are the Myrmidons. Your Sky Knights are your Pegasus Knights. Your ninjas are basically your thieves.
But look, they've got a new...
They changed them up.
They changed them up
to make them more original.
Which is it's a good idea. I like that. But for the most part, I mean, you've got Lobster Lord.
You got Lobster Lord.
I think they have the better royal family, both stat wise, because holy shit, Takumi and Ryoma are monsters. Ryoma especially. Ryoma can tank.
Ryoma is just...
He can tank entire maps on his own.
Okay, the reason Ryoma is so good is mainly because of his damn weapon. The Raijinto. Because it's a 1-2 sword, which has, minor negativities, minus some, defense or something. I don't know.
But you can't hit him.
But that doesn't really matter because, he's fast enough that he can dodge his opponents. He's fast enough that he can double hit his opponents. His skill is high enough that he can crit his opponents. His skill is high enough that Astra's going to activate all the damn time.
People on NeoGAF
if he gets low enough, he just has Vantage.
People on NeoGAF were calling him probably the best unit that's ever existed in a Fire Emblem game, period. He's straight up overpowered. I remember, I've told you guys this story where when I did Rajat's Paralogue, I lost every soldier except for Ryoma, and there were still 15 enemies left. Ryoma killed every single one of them. I won that Paralogue. He tanked the entire army. That was crazy.
Basically, I've mentioned this before to our friends and stuff, but when it came to the final 2 battles, all I did was have just have the Avatar and Ryoma, paired them up, just had Ryoma waltz over there. He tanked everything. He never got hurt. Whatever. Then I just had the Avatar kill the bosses, and that was it. The end.
When it got to the later missions, it was basically pair Korum with Ryoma, tank to the boss, kill boss with Korin.
Pretty much.
That was the best strategy near the end. So did you play on casual or did you play on regular?
I played casual. I'm a scrub.
I am also a scrub. I played casual. I will never play a regular Fire Emblem with permadeath not because I think they're bad. They have their place and people enjoy them, and obviously that's where the series got its start. I would destroy everything. I would snap my DS in half. I would Here's the thing. I'm not good at video games, guys. I'm not good at them. So I might be looked down upon for using casual mode, but I'm glad casual mode is there because that means that I get to play Fire Emblem.
Right.
But I'm impressed
Phoenix
with
mode is just...
Phoenix mode's too much. Phoenix mode is...
That's baby mode.
Way too much. And like, I even went in thinking like, oh, Conquest might be so hard that I end up with doing Phoenix mode, and I didn't. So
Yeah, it's not that hard.
which we'll get to that later. But
Yeah.
Phoenix mode is way too much. Takumi is awesome.
Takumi's only weakness is that he can't hit at point blank.
And eventually we're going to get
And
a DLC
there's going to
that
be a
fixes
future
that.
DLC that gives him that skill.
So he'll be unstoppable at that point. Like,
Oh my goodness.
oh my, he crits like crazy too, and his Fujin Yumi is super strong.
And
So-
it lets him cross any terrain as if it were a plane.
Yeah, it lets him ignore terrain. That's the cheapest thing. He basically works on the same rules as a Pegasus Knight. That's crazy. That shouldn't be a thing.
And again, his only weakness is that he's an archer. And let's be honest, no one really likes archers.
This
Some
is the
people
first
do.
game. This is the first Fire Emblem game. I've only beaten Awakening. I've played Sacred Stones and a little bit of other ones. This is the first one where I've willingly used archers.
I know. Yeah, because, well, archers or just Takumi.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I used all the royals, and that included when I made Sakura an archer. Because I made sure to, even in Revelation, which we'll get to later, I had every royal on my team that
Yeah,
went
yeah,
out.
I did too.
Because I liked having as many people that could activate Dragon Veins as possible, and also the royals tended to be the stronger units most of the time.
There's a reason why they're the royals.
And so, except for Hinoka. Hinoka
Okay,
was
Hinoka
always
suffers
my...
from being, like, average.
She was always my weakest royal in Birthright, which changed in Revelation for some reason. But in Birthright, she was always the first to die, and she couldn't kill. She couldn't kill to save her life, and it was so weird because everybody else was fine, but she couldn't touch.
Hinoka
really
basically suffered from me in Birthright because I wasn't quite used to the reclassing system yet, so I couldn't get her any good skills.
See, and I guess we should bring
stuff.
that up is that you went nuts with reclassing, and I am a stickler.
Okay.
I'm a stickler for keeping people the
Okay,
classes that they are.
With Birthright, I was learning the reclassing because they changed it so much. From
There are too many
Awakening.
seals in this game. Too many. I actually
get
dislike
why.
that.
I get why, but it's still like just add it to the second seal, please.
I think that Second Seal and Master Seal and Awakening was fine. They should have kept it like that. There are how many seals are there in this game? There are
so there are the Master Seals, which are
Eternal
your
Seals, Master Seals, which are the only ones that are the same. Eternal Seals, which are for if you've hit the level cap with somebody that's already been promoted.
The cap, and thus extending your stats,
Which
is nice.
It
but
was nice, and I
expensive.
used a couple, but
It was expensive.
Heart Seals, which will let you change.
They were basically
to,
your second seals.
They were second seals that let you change to the
Your
class of
alternate.
their spouse.
No, not the
Is it
heart
not?
seals. That's because every unit has two classes that they can be. That lets them reclass their other class. So, like, say,
Wait, yeah, Heart Seal was for personality, wasn't it?
yeah, that was your personality. Because at the beginning, when you're customizing your character, they let you pick a class for your choosing.
No, and then
And-
there's Friendship Seal.
The friendship seal,
Which
if
was-
if
It's
two
for
units got
A+.
an A+ support, they
Which-
could.
You know what I wish? I wish A pluses had stories to them. I wish they worked like S ranks.
I get why they don't.
I
get why
understand
because it works one way. Like
instead of
say,
two way like
Alicia
an S rank.
could have an A+ with Hana,
But
but
then
Hana
Hana
could have
could
an
have
A+
an A+
with
with-
Sakura.
Yeah, and so I get that, I guess, but I still wish it was more than just, oh look, we grinded that support to A+. I guess it's just A+ now, nothing for it. Awesome, cool.
I mean, there was something for it. You get a class.
Which one was for spousal?
That was the Was that the partner seal?
Yeah,
Yeah,
partner
I
seal.
think it's a
And then there's offspring seals, which I don't mind, but
offspring seals make sense because that just helps the children get up to the point they need to be where they can live.
yeah.
Which is
And
both a good and a bad thing because it's a good thing because they can, but it's a bad thing because when they're not when they're like a neutral unit and you can't get to them in time, they're
yeah.
fucked.
But
I
that's
had
six.
to do Shiro's mission like 5 or 6 times before I
Oh,
could
the
get it.
secret to Shiro's mission is get a rescue stave.
Yeah, I figured that. Yeah, I had to get like 2 rescue staves just to get them close enough.
But that's 6 seals. That's 6 types of seal. That's
It's-
crazy. That's too much. That's too
Yeah.
many. So let's talk about the story of Birthright. So obviously, Birthright is about you siding with Hoshido, which is your birth family. They are the ones that you were kidnapped from when you were a child. They are your actual siblings. So
Kinda.
let's
Not really.
let's talk about that. Let's talk about your about the
Okay,
story.
well, let's just get this out of the way. They just flat out say it eventually in the supports. They are not your blood siblings, they are your step siblings.
Kinda, they're
Because Makoto married Sumeragi,
yeah,
but Sumeragi already had the kids,
yeah.
except for like Takumi and Sakura. But
So they have different. Well, I believe the answer was they all had different mothers.
yeah, they
All had different birth mothers. And the same goes with Nor.
yeah. No, with Nor they did explain that, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. So you side with them, and the whole story is about you going to Hoshido and deciding, yeah, we got to kill King Garen.
Yeah, because well, you've seen what horrible things he's done, and
He's
you know
crazy.
the bastard kind of killed your mom. So
And of course, all your Norian siblings are against you, and it's tearing
sucks.
them apart. The story in Birthright, I think, was a lot stronger than the story overall in Conquest.
yeah,
Even though I think Conquest, for the most part, has the better characters, which seems to be the general
consensus.
consensus between
Right.
all of the roots. So we'll talk about this when we get to Conquest too. But the problem with it's not a problem with Birthright, but in Birthright something happens to Azura at the end. She disappears because it explains that her song uses up this weird power, and if she uses it too
And
much,
it
it'll destroy
eventually
her body.
dissolves her body into water.
That
Yeah.
still happens in Conquest, and they never explain it. They
It's
never
true.
explain it.
They pretty much expect you to play Birthright first because that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. They expect you to play Birthright first.
They never
because
even
of-
mention it in Conquest. It just
It's,
happens.
it's just like, oh, wait, was she here? Where'd she go?
And in Birthright, it's a huge plot point because you find out about it long before she actually disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually kind of pissed me off. So I can't think of anything else to talk about in Birthright really, other than. Do you have a favorite map? Can you think of a favorite map?
In Birthright.
I can think of a least favorite map in Birthright, and that's the Mokushu Forest, which they made worse in Revelations, and we'll talk about that later.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think what's a good map that I used a lot.
When it came to grinding, I used Izumo Castle a lot.
Okay, so for early grinding I used I used like the basic, like the first level, the Hoshido Plaza and all that. For mid-level grinding I did like Sheev or whatever, however it's pronounced. The place where Scarlet's from.
Chevrolet.
Yeah,
I'm
Chevrolet.
just going to call it that from now on.
And then for late game grinding, I did Kildori's mission, Riverside, because there's just a shit ton of forts everywhere. And you can just hole up and, you know, it's one of those nice things.
Yeah. Favorite map story-wise, I think my favorite was the Opera House, which I know is in Conquest too, but I think it's a lot better in
No, in
Birthright.
Yeah, because in Birthright, you're trying to escape.
Yeah.
Because, like, Garen's there, and then Xander shows up, and then, you know, it's a giant clusterfuck.
But other than that,
And
I
that was
can't
the
think of-
only place where I actually missed getting a chest. because I was like, okay, there's Garen. Maybe I'm not gonna take him on, but I'll just get those chests anyway.
I barely got
And
that
then
chest.
Xander showed up and I'm like, okay, fuck this, I'm out of here. So I just, because I had already attached my avatar to a flyer and just had him move up there.
Yeah,
And
at
it's
that
like-
point, you just got to run.
I was just like waiting to get all the chests, and it was like, okay, my units are kind of dying now. I guess I should go. And then I just left.
Let's see. Also, that lava map was terrible. Fuck that
Oh
map.
my god, the fucking lava map.
Yeah, this Dragon Vein has any map where a Dragon Vein had a 50% chance of doing something good and a 50% chance of fucking you over was
It
stupid.
literally forced me to resort to just using battle saves to which one was which.
That was stupid.
It's horrible.
So yeah, last thing I think we can talk about, favorite kid on the Birthright side.
Keldari.
That's respectable.
I married
Mine
her,
was,
so
mine was
you know.
Selkie. I
Selkie, that's also respectable.
love Selkie. She is adorable, and I love her. I don't think there were any. Because otherwise, like, Kana's weird because Kana's a kid. We were sending a kid
Kana
to war.
is like a genuine, like, she's like 8 to 10 years old.
I didn't get Midori in Birthright because
Here's more
obviously
spoilers.
in chapter 15, which is the stupidest goddamn thing, and I've seen the consensus be that too. If you don't have an A rank or an S rank with Kaze and Korin, then
Kaze dies.
Then Kaze just straight up dies in story, and there's nothing you can do about it. And so he died, and I didn't get Midori. So I didn't get Midori
Yeah,
until
'cause-
Conquest. I'm still upset about that. There's no heads up to that either. I get it. I get why there's no heads up. But come on.
But, for being a light path, there was quite a lot of death in Birthright.
Well, I mean, that was in Birthright. I guess we lost Kaze, but
You can lose Kaze. You
lose
have
Elise, or
You
Elise
lose
dies.
Flora. You lose Elise.
Man, that
You
Flora
lose-
scene was fucked. Oh man, she sets herself on fire.
People bitch about how they censored this game, but they leave in where Flora fucking commits suicide.
She burns herself. That was wow.
Yeah, she sets herself on fire.
That was brutal.
That-
That was brutal.
That was fucked up. And she does it in front of her sister.
Yeah, fucking wow. And then you lose Elise, or you don't lose Elise. Elise dies, and so does Xander.
Elise gets killed saving you.
I guess you kill Xander. Actually, you have
And
to.
then Xander basically attacks you and then you kill Xander.
That was a really cool chapter. Like, oh
It was.
man,
It was
that
sad,
chapter was
but
awesome.
it was cool.
Really sad, really well done.
It was.
And
Those chapters in general where you're fighting the brother is just...
final boss was weird. I still don't quite understand.
I mean, you fight Garen and then
you fight Dragon Garen.
then you fight Dragon Garen.
You fight Ghost Bone Skeleton Dragon Garen. That was weird. I don't understand.
And then it gets... yeah, we'll talk about that in Conquest. We'll talk more
Anyways.
about Garen in Conquest.
So
Where he was
that's-
actually important.
That's Birthright.
Birthright.
And so now we're going to move on to Conquest. So if you were just in this for Birthright, get out now. So let's talk about Fire Emblem Conquest. The hard one.
The hard
The
one.
really, really
Okay,
hard
okay.
one.
So maybe we should explain why it is hard.
You can't grind.
Okay, the grinding is one thing, but that was always a thing in
Well-
previous generations of Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
That's not what made it really hard, though. The game was genuinely brutal towards you.
The game is
it
balanced.
went out of its way to say "fuck you."
I know that that Matt is almost positive it's balanced for casual mode because he started in for
Classic.
for anybody that doesn't know, if you're listening to this for some reason, in Fates you can change your difficulty partway through the. You can change your difficulty at any time in the game, but only
But
down.
you can only do it. Yeah, you can only scale down. You can never go up.
You can only go from regular to casual, and then from casual to Phoenix, but you can't go the other way. So if you change, you're stuck there, or you can go further down.
Right.
And Matt started with regular and couldn't do it, and had to switch to casual.
Basically, the general consensus about Conquest is fuck pots.
Fuck pots. That map sucked, but I think the worst map was the canyon in the alternate dimension.
Honestly, that wasn't that bad for me.
I really hated that one because
You
it was
wanna
one of those here, only take 3 people. All right,
Okay,
cool.
but in my case, it was my strongest, and then Azura and Gunter, so whatever. So what I did was I cloned to the other side. I paired up Gunter and the Avatar on the clone versions of them. I just charged for the boss. Nothing could hurt me, and that was it. Wait. Yeah, that was it. And also I had my avatar like constantly being healed all the time because of was it because I had like renewal, or was it because I was standing on top of like a heal thing? Because the thing with the duplicates is if one is standing on a heal and the other isn't, and the one gets healed, the other one does too. So you take advantage of that. You gotta learn how to do the duplicate stuff. It's weird, but once you figure it out, you're set.
Yeah, the duplicate stuff was weird. I think I tried it my first attempt on the map to get to the boss, and I couldn't make it. So I just decided, fuck this, I'm leaving.
So yeah, fuck that stage.
Yeah, that stage sucked. Really, I think so. The Norian Royals, I think, are better characters, mainly because it's really hard to pick Nor. And I don't see why you would ever pick Nor your first time, story-wise, because they are the bad guys. They are painted as the bad guys.
And
the Royals aren't bad people. None of the characters are actually bad guys that you play with on the Norian side. But Nor, as a whole, is the bad guys.
Like, as you play through, you learn, oh, holy shit, these guys are, like, really bloodthirsty, and they're going out of their way to kill innocents. Yeah, they're bad people.
And one of the big themes of Conquest is I'm going to have to play the villain, because the whole idea is you're trying to get Garen onto the throne in Hoshido. Because it's revealed...
To reveal his true self.
It's revealed at the beginning of the game that the Hoshidan throne, whoever sits on it, reveals their true self. So...
And then on the stage that we were talking about, the one where you're in the canyon, Azura reveals that Garen isn't himself.
Garen has been possessed by some creature.
He is really a monster. So you're trying to get him to the throne. So you can reveal it to your siblings, and they can help you change Nor.
Yeah. So basically, it's basically the same plot otherwise, though, because it's just, instead of, oh, we're going to Nor to beat Garen, it's, okay, we have to go to Hoshido and beat Ryoma. And take over Hoshido.
And then beat Garen.
And then beat Garen. Garen is the villain of both paths.
Yeah.
So
except this time, instead of the weird dragon creature, you get a water monster.
He's Melty Person. I like Melty Person.
That was so fucked up.
It was really weird looking. He's like a melting candle.
Yeah, he's just like, they're just constantly dripping, and he's massive. He's like, when you look at their actual like in battle sprites or whatever, their in battle animations, he's gigantic.
He's huge. I think Camilla is my favorite royal. No, she's not my favorite royal, but if any of the royals, if I was ever going to marry any of the siblings, it was going to be Camilla, but I didn't because that would have been weird.
Camilla's really thirsty for you.
Camilla's thirsty as hell. Magic boob lady.
Dries up a whole river.
Dries up an entire river, and she's still thirsty. I think we've all taken to calling Camilla Magic Boob Lady, which is a very apt description of her.
Mm-hmm.
But I also really like Elise. Elise is one of the most adorable things ever. And
Elise, she is like, she really takes the little sister role up like to a 10, but it's also really weird because she is, as they say, technically an adult.
And she's 18. Because quote unquote 18. And so I'm gonna say that royal wise, Leo's an asshole. I love him. Leo's an asshole.
But he just has some issues.
He's worse than Takumi, but still not as bad as Takumi, which is weird to say. But Takumi's whole thing was that sense. I'm just a dick because I don't trust anybody, and Leo's is I'm just a dick. That's just who I am. I'm just an asshole.
Right.
And Xander's boring.
Xander is just, he's a prince.
I mean, Ryoma's boring too. To be fair.
Well, let's be honest. They're trying to be kings.
But Xander doesn't even get the advantage of being an overpowered unit. Xander can't dodge to save his damn life.
Okay. Well, again, he can't dodge. He can't really double hit. You can get some skills to make up for it, but otherwise he's not going to be as good as Ryoma. And he's mounted unit, so he's going to suffer the penalty from having a beast.
Yeah, and the other issue with Conquest is that I have with the Royals in Conquest is that 3 out of 4 of them are pre-promoted units. Xander, Leo, and Camilla have all already been promoted.
Right, and pre-promoted units, for those who don't know, generally have like issues with growing and stuff.
Generally, late game, pre-promoted units suck. That wasn't really the case with. I think Leo and Camilla were my 2 most powerful units near the end of Conquest, and Camilla especially because I was Eternal Sealing her. I believe she was like level 27 by the time I fought the final boss. But Leo was super strong. But Xander just never got there.
Xander, in my case, he basically... I had to reclass... I had him buddy up with Kaze and reclass him into a ninja just so I could get his speed going. Once I did that, he was doing better. That was basically the thing. That was basically what I had to do to get him up to speed. Oh yeah, we should talk about the final boss.
I don't actually remember who the final boss was.
That came out of fucking nowhere.
Oh right. What a dick move, game. What a dick move. The final boss is Takumi. It's possessed Takumi. Sorry,
it's possessed Takumi.
Possessed,
because
basically,
he falls into the canyon.
Well, it's implied that he was sort of possessed beforehand, but not.
Yeah.
It's implied that he was possessed by the same thing that was possessing Garen, basically. Not the exact same thing, but the same basic.
But yeah, he's dead and he's being possessed.
And so you've got to fight one of the scariest units from the other route, and that's your final boss.
Yeah, and he is a genuine... Okay, he himself is not a tough boss. It's getting to him that's really annoying and tough.
Getting him's really annoying, and then you mentioned, like, oh, just wait till you see who he's paired up with, because you're going to get really mad. And I was like, it can't be that bad. He's paired up with a second Takumi. It's the stupidest goddamn thing. It's just two
basically
Takumis.
Takumi and Takumi.
You only have to kill one, which is the one at the front. But, like, he's paired up with 2 Takumis. That's so dumb.
Paired up with himself.
Ugh.
He has a skill where both of them will attack.
Which is
because that's
bullshit.
That's not a thing in Fates anymore because they
forgot.
nerfed pair up, which was a good thing.
They completely nerfed pair ups, which I actually like how it works better now. Because the way it works now leads to more diverse
strategy.
diverse supports, and
Yeah.
also means that I have to work on strategy a little bit more. So, in a way,
As
I really like
opposed
that.
to Awakening, where you just everyone pairs up.
In Awakening, if you didn't pair anybody up, you were stupid. So, favorite kid on the north side.
Ophelia.
That's fair. That's fair. Who is
I'm
my
sorry,
favorite
but
kid?
Ophelia is just like fun as hell.
Ophelia's great, but I think I like Nina better.
I can get why Nina is pretty amusing.
Nina's
Her supports
hilarious.
with Soleil are something else.
No, why am I saying Nina? The answer is Soleil. The answer is Soleil. One thing that disappoints me about Soleil is that. So, for anybody that doesn't know, Rajat on the Birthright side, you can marry even if you play as female Corin.
Rajat is the lesbian option, and
then
Niles
Niles
on the Conquest side is the gay option.
Soleil should have been another lesbian option, I think.
Soleil definitely should have been the lesbian option.
Because, oh my god, she's amazing. I love her. She's great. She's just Inigo, but female. But she still goes after females. So
She's better than Inigo,
oh, I love her. I love her. I love her. I love her.
because she actually succeeds with the flirting.
And the correct answer to that question is also anyone but Valoria. I didn't like Valoria at all.
I still don't really use her at all.
I used her, but I don't like her as a character.
Like I didn't get any of her like supports.
Let me sum them up for you. Oh, you smell good. Let me hug you forever, dad/mom. Never leave me, ever. Don't leave me. Let me invade your personal space. Stop telling me to stop invading your personal space. Don't leave me, ever. Those are all of her supports with Keaton, and her supports with her mom are basically just, Mom, you need to stop fighting the war. Okay, I understand why you can't fight the war. Can I hug you forever? Can I smell you forever? Cool. She's just super clingy, and like that's fine when that is in conjunction with another character trait, but as far as I could tell, there was no other character trait there.
Yeah.
So, I didn't marry any of the kids in Conquest or Revelation, but we'll get to that later. Because
You did one pairing in Birthright, didn't you?
in Birthright, I married all the kids. All the kids
Oh, okay.
were married off in Birthright, but I didn't do it in Conquest because I got tired of boot camp. Boot camp sucks.
Yeah. Okay, so for those who don't know, Boot Camp was basically your grinding. What is a DLC, you have to pay for it, but it is literally the only possible way to grind experience in Conquest.
To regularly grind experience, because you can still get it from castle battles, but that's not
No,
really...
no.
Can you not?
Can't. You can't
Really?
get actuals. You can't get experience. You can get support
Jeez.
points, but you cannot get experience.
So it's just boot camp then. Weird. But yeah, boot camp's terrible.
The castle invasions that, pop up like 3 times in each route, which are like just basically the computer attacks your base. Yeah, those will give you experience, but
No, those were what I was thinking.
going to other castles will not. Which sucks.
Yeah, so boot camp's terrible. I'm not really going to get into why. I don't think we really need to, but I didn't enjoy it. So I ended up just not wanting to marry the kids. So I didn't.
Conquest at the end was just, okay, let me get all the characters and just push through to the end. Because there
So
was a lot of burnout by Conquest.
I can't think of anything else to talk about on Conquest. It might be time to go ahead and move on to Revelation
Yeah.
and then close this up.
Right.
So again, if you're not looking for Revelation spoilers, we're about to get into them. So get out
the
now.
fuck out. Revelation time.
All right, the final part of the Fire Emblem Fates Spoilercast is Revelation, of course. And so Revelation, obviously, is the route that puts them all together. I think it is the better route, but it has some big flaws.
Yeah.
really
and
big
It's
flaws.
basically the canon route, let's be honest.
Yeah, I assume. So, the biggest flaw with Revelation is there's too many fucking units.
Okay, so basically when you had Birthright, you had a good amount of characters. When you had Conquest, you had a good amount of characters. Let's shove them all together.
Yeah, all of them. All of them. Every single one, including
When
-1 because you don't get Azama in Revelation, but you get Fuga instead, so it all works out.
well, you lose Azana, Scarlet kind of dies, and they
Scarlet
even
dies,
say that.
but
They even say that in like the ending. It's like Scarlet retired at chapter 18.
well, yeah, she died
Oh.
in story, so I mean, it makes sense.
So yeah, and there's no way to avert that, so don't even bother.
No
Um,
way to do it. Which, well, see, that's the way the death should have gone. Is that Scarlet's not tied to a child unit. So when they killed Kaze in Birthright, which I don't give a shit if you didn't listen to the Birthright section, why did you play Revelations first? Or Revelation first. You're supposed to play the
Right.
other two routes first.
You literally can't play Revelation unless you have one or the other, unless you got the limited edition, in which case you're a lucky son of a bitch. Fuck you, Dark.
Well, I just mean like you literally shouldn't unless you've played Birthright and Conquest. Even the
It
game even
literally-
tells you that.
The game literally says, don't play this until you've played the other two, because there are spoilers for the other two.
Spoilers for the other two, and also you don't really have time to. That's another thing that feeds into there's too many units is you don't have time to get to know all the units because there's too damn many of them. So that's why playing the other two routes is a better idea first, because then you get to know
You get to
those
learn
units,
more about these characters.
and then you go
Because-
into the big one.
Yeah, because the big one starts, basically shoveling characters at you left and right.
So, I think I preferred Revelation overall. It was really
Same.
hard at the start because at the start it was like, hey,
At
what if
the
we?
start, you only at the chapter 6, it's like, hey, there's you and Azura and your butler
And
maid,
Jacob /
And it's like-
Felicia.
and yes, so when I was playing, it's like Felicia's like coming like, oh, so wait, who are we fighting again? It's like, well, we're kind of fighting both armies.
Well, the big
like-
problem with the plot in Revelation is that it all could have been solved if, like,
If Ryoma and Xander had more level heads.
if Xander and
we're
Ryoma
seeing
would
it as,
listen. Because the story
And they
basically boils down to, hey, I'm not gonna pick a side because this war is stupid.
'Cause I love you too.
You're betraying Nor? No, you're not listening. I'm not fighting anybody. You're betraying Hoshido? No, I'm not. Guys, just talk. Just talk.
Yeah, because it's like Corrin's basically like, I love you guys both so much, so I'm not gonna fight any of you. I'm not gonna make this choice, and they just don't listen. They're too eager for war,
Yep.
and there we are. On the middle of, I mean, chapter 6 is easy because you're not fighting the royals. You're basically only fighting generic units.
You can fight the Royals if you want. You shouldn't. They will
You shouldn't.
destroy you. So, because the
And then-
options there, they're on the map. You could totally go fight them. But
Well,
don't.
by the time you could get to them, the other units will have gotten to you, and you will basically have annihilated them.
Yeah, I suppose that's
But
true.
the point is to beat two bosses. You go right in just
you
in
beat-
range of the first boss.
You beat one.
He'll come and he'll die.
So you beat the Norian commander, and Xander's like, Did Corrin really kill my commander? So they really have betrayed us and taken the other side. And then you kill the Hoshidan commander, and Ryoma's like, oh, they really have betrayed us and gone to the other side. It's like, no, you guys don't fucking get it.
Yeah, it's
That being said, it's got the strongest story of all of them, and also
Yeah.
lets me make. So it got the best supports, I think, because it has its every character is able to support.
everyone
with,
can cross a port
with two
some- with certain
characters,
people.
or I think 4 characters. I think 2 A+.
No, it's two. It's two love interests and 1 friendship.
Okay, so 3
The 3.
from the other route.
Which is a good number because they already can support with basically everyone from their side.
I mean, I'm really sad that there's not more options, but I can totally understand why there's not. Because
And
that's a
the
lot of
options that they
supports to
gave
write.
made quite a bit of sense.
Yeah. So, for instance, you can make Selena, aka Severa. For anybody that does not know at this point,
I mean,
Odin.
it's pretty
Basically
much
said outright in the game.
yeah.
Odin, Laszlo, and Selena are actually Owain, Inigo, and Severa from Awakening. They have come from.
Why even today at the day of recording, they released the prologue chapters that explain how that came to be.
Which I haven't listened. I haven't or played yet.
Yeah,
I should eventually.
It's quite interesting, but those chapters are hard as fuck. So, moving on.
So, you can make Severa Kaldori's
Selena.
mom. So Kaldori's whole thing is that she is basically Cordelia. She looks like Cordelia. Her name is an anagram of
like
Cordelia. And she even gets special extra lines.
She gets
with it,
extra
too.
lines with Selena, which
Was really, they were really
makes-
good. They were really good.
I really love those supports.
Because they were
Because
basically...
it's like,
the extra lines are basically her breaking down and crying that, oh my god, you look exactly like my mom, and I miss my mom so damn much.
it's basically implied that Tsubaki and Selena are canon by those lines.
I
Like-
think that.
That's my canon pairing. Now it's like, it's too good. Like their supports are really good between Tsubaki and Selena. The parental ones, again, they're like, it's really implied that they're the mom and that Selena is the canon mom.
One story complaint I have is
Yes.
the end of the game during the credit roll when it tells you where everybody went after the events of the game. In Revelation, Azura doesn't disappear, but the game still treats it as if Azura disappeared, which
It's
doesn't make
basically
any
like-
sense.
Yeah, it's basically like she doesn't have any historical records, which is like, well,
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. In Conquest and Birthright, that makes sense because she vanishes from reality.
right.
But in Revelation, she doesn't.
she still exists.
So
She's still alive.
But since I guess I accidentally made it make sense in Revelation because she married Laszlo for me, and it implies with every single all three of the Awakening guys and some of their kids that
they vanished.
They went back to Elis, and their spouses went with them. Most of the time.
Which would make a lot of sense.
It would, and sometimes their kids went with them too. Though it's implied that Ophelia probably didn't. I believe it's implied that Soleil did.
It's implied that Ophelia, it says she vanishes, and there's still like records of her traveling with weird magic with weird names everywhere. So it's implied that she'll eventually make it back to Elise.
I guess.
And well, whatever. That's nice.
Which I liked that detail that their spouses went back with them. That was good.
Yeah.
Did you know it's possible to miss the final boss? Because Leo did it multiple times. Now you understand what I was screaming about when I said, holy shit, Leo, how did you miss that? How are you missing it?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking the hands either. I'm talking the face.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some
cool final
some
boss
issues.
though.
Oh, the final boss I love.
I don't think it's as good
Just
as
the
Grima.
fact that
I think Grima kicks the shit out of it, but cool final boss.
I mean, it's still a dragon. It's weird. The eye thing is weird. The core thing.
Really, really love Fire Emblem dragon designs because they don't look like dragons. I mean, they do kind of, but for the most part, they don't just look like generic dragons.
They're really original.
And that's
They're
really cool.
Original.
I'm glad they do that because regular dragons have been done to death.
Yeah, instead you get Grima, who is like this butterfly thing, and then you get
Anankos, who's Like,
What is that?
he's got a ball with eyes on it in his mouth.
With eyes that it spins inside his like mouth thing, and
And then when you destroy his
all of
body,
them are
it
like
stays.
looking at you.
It
And
was
it's like-
weird.
It was weird and it was cool.
Like all their dragons have very unique designs, and I really appreciate that about Fire Emblem. Like, but how do you miss that boss, Leo? How is your accuracy that terrible that you can't
Like,
hit it?
it's just the RNG in this game. It's really like, it really takes it up to the extreme sometimes.
Well, like, it was just Leo most of the time. Leo missed everything. He couldn't hit anything to save his goddamn life. When he did, he hit hard, but he couldn't hit anything. Also, Revelation can be known as the... Garen is not the villain of Revelation. I mean, technically he's one of them, but in Revelation, the villain is the Kingdom of Vala, which is a separate kingdom, because when you're siding with both Hoshido and Nor together, you can't really have Hoshido or Nor be your enemy.
So instead you have this invisible kingdom.
Yeah, which was a cool idea, I guess. I think the curse thing was stupid. Like, that seemed like lazy writing to me, the whole, if you talk about it outside of Vala, you disappear, so don't do it. Like, that felt kind of like lazy writing to me. I can't really explain why.
So, there was one thing that happened in the game, and then made sense by the end, is one of the characters you couldn't support with anyone, which was Gunter. It's like, you couldn't support him with anyone.
Yeah, and
even
I guess
though in Conquest he could support with the Avatar and Jacob.
They said Matt says that's a coding glitch, but I'm actually not so sure.
I
think that was done on purpose because he's a villain in Revelation. He's a bad guy.
In Chapter 26, he's revealed to be the bad guy.
He's revealed to basically be
possessed.
the guy being directly possessed by a Nankos.
Yeah.
So
that would make a lot of sense.
Which I didn't see that coming. Well, okay, I started seeing that coming when he started
Near the end.
Yeah.
Towards the end.
Right after Scarlet died and in that labyrinth. That was when I was like, oh, it's Gunter. Has to be. Because they weren't going to do that to Azura. Azura wasn't going to turn heel. And they tried to convince you that it was Azura for a little bit. But I think that was really cool. And I'm glad that you let him live at the end.
Yeah.
But
And then
Revelation,
the bosses before that were...
Revelation is parents dying the game. First,
really is.
First you kill Azura's
first
mom.
you have...
Then
first Azura's mom is like your midway bad guy who's like constantly taunting you everywhere.
And then you re-kill Queen Makoto.
Then in 24 you meet Queen Makoto. It's like she has her whole cutscene too. And it's like, shit, I have to kill you. And then you have to do that whole damn like stealth maze thing.
Yeah, that sucked. That mission sucked. I hated that map.
I did it. I snuck through all the way. I didn't get caught.
Did you do the... I don't know how I got caught sometimes. But did you, at the end, when she said, all right, now it's actually the red door is the good one, did you still go through the blue door?
I still went through the blue door.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. We're not idiots. I'm glad.
And I'm glad I didn't get caught because my reward was a pair of boots.
Yay! And then
after that, King Sumeragi.
You kill King Sumeragi. That was the worst map. That map was awful.
Well, the stupid like elevator things.
It wasn't just that. Why were the enemies so much stronger in the map than anywhere else in the game? Even the chapters after that, the enemies weren't that strong.
Ew. This is like the strongest of the strong.
I've told this story to you guys already, but in this map, I lost everybody but Valoria, and Valoria beat Sumeragi by luck. She shouldn't have won that fight. By the time I got to Sumeragi, Valoria was all that was left. I don't know how I won that map. They were so strong. They were killing, like, Ryoma died in the first turn. They were
Wow.
even in the next 2 chapters after that, the enemies weren't as strong as they were in the Sumeragi chapter. I don't understand what the hell happened.
I don't know. I didn't really have like any issues really. Like I had Ryoma and Xander on one side, like my avatar, Camilla, and like the other people on one side, and someone else in the far bottom, like Leo and Sakura and Takumi and them. I don't know. I had my royals all split up. It worked out somehow.
Oh, I had the royals all split because it forces you to split them up, and then doesn't put any healers on the other side, which I forgot. I didn't learn until after that. Well, no, I knew I could swap, but I forgot, and I didn't realize that there was no healer on the other side,
and that kind of fucked you.
So,
yeah.
But other than that map, there weren't really any maps that were super stupid, except for Mokushu, which, you know, that was just dumb.
Yeah, the damn spikes.
The fact that they came back after you got rid of them was the problem. That was the issue. But we're running a little bit long on this Revelation section, so we should probably go ahead and
we got about 15 minutes each.
Yeah, which it's a pretty good number for all of them. So... overall, I like Revelation the best.
Same. It's kind of a shame you can't buy Revelation on its own, but I get why, because you need the backstory of at least one of them.
And I guess, basically, let's just end it with, overall, do you like Fire Emblem Fates?
I put 180 hours into this game. Yes, I like it.
I put 110 hours into the game. I like it a lot. Sadly, both of us suffered from burnout at the very end because three brand new Fire Emblem games within the span of a month sounds great until you've played 3 brand new Fire Emblem games within the span of a month and you're tired of Fire Emblem.
Yeah, that's a lot of Fire Emblem. Like, I'm not even joking. We're not even like exaggerating here. That's a lot of Fire Emblem.
Like that would happen.
I might have put more hours into Fates than I have in Awakening.
Like
in the span of 1 month instead of like the span of like 2 years.
Like if they released 3 Pokemon games at once and I played all 3, which they do release multiple Pokemon games at the same time, but you don't play them all, and they're not all different games.
Yeah. Well, with Fates, it's like you want the full experience because these are like
they're 3 entirely different stories. And 2 of them have entirely different characters from the others. So and
then 3 gives you like the ideal conclusion that you want.
Yeah, so like
because let's face it, you don't want the conclusion of Birthright or Conquest.
So if you're listening to this and for some reason have spoiled yourself completely but still plan on playing the game, do yourself a favor. Wait a month between each path. Then play it. Don't be like us and play them within weeks of each other.
Don't play them like immediately, right, one after the other.
I mean, I got a little bit of a break between
Conquest and the release of Revelation. I think we had like a couple days.
I got a week. I got like 5-6 days of a break between those 2.
Yeah.
So yeah.
A few days.
With that, I'm Joe DeVader.
I'm Clayton Jessen.
And we will see you.
I think we're burned out.
Yeah, we're burnt the hell out. But Fates was good. I liked it, so.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, guys. Remember to check out Temple Control. I don't know if the latest episode is out yet, but it's Killer Instinct Season 2. So definitely check that out if it's out. And if it's not, check that out when it comes out. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.